Okay, welcome everyone. Today is a very special day here at the Middle East Institute. My name is Stu Jones. I'm the president of MEI, and I'm really delighted to welcome all of you. I'm so proud of our program this afternoon. It's really a pleasure to welcome you all for a conversation with the renowned archaeologist and Egyptologist, Dr. Zahi Hawass. We are really honored to have, yes. Thank you. All of you know Dr. Hawass is a scholar. He's a leader. He's a television star, very well known around the world as a spokesman, not only for archaeology and scholarship, but for Egypt. And this is what we were just talking about. I've known Zahi for more than 2 decades, since my time at the U.S. Embassy in Cairo. And I can say that his presentations always combine history, entertainment, and personal wisdom, and of course, humor. Zahi is visiting Washington this week to participate in Meridian International Center's annual Culture Fix Conference and award ceremony. And last night, congratulations, Zahi, he received Meridian's 2026 Cultural Diplomacy Award for his contribution to building bridges between Egypt and the world through his extraordinary work on ancient Egypt. Bravo. Those of you who are familiar with the Middle East Institute, you know that we share that mission. Our mission is, since 1946, to foster greater understanding and partnership between the people of the United States and the people of the Middle East. And I really can't think of anyone either in the United States or the Middle East, who's done this more than Zahi Hawass. Special thanks I want to give today to our Middle East Institute board member, Deborah Lair, who has helped arrange for Dr. Hawass to visit MEI today. Deborah serves as vice chair at Meridian and has done extensive work on the issue of stolen antiquities, a cause that is also very close to Dr. Hawass's heart. Egypt is very much top of mind here at MEI these days. In September, we will open a landmark exhibition of modern and contemporary Egyptian art in the MEI Gallery in the fall. From September 17th to December 11th. Dr. Hawass, I'm inviting you to return for that. I hope you'll join us, and I hope you'll all put it on your calendars. I think this will go down as one of the greatest exhibits ever hosted by MEI. I'm also proud to announce a new partnership between the Middle East Institute and the American Chamber of Commerce in Egypt to develop research and policy analysis on economic developments in Egypt. We're really grateful for this partnership with the American Chamber, and you'll be hearing more about that going forward as well. But today, we will speak about ancient Egypt, and no one is better qualified to take us there than Zahi Hawass. Dr. Hawass, thank you for honoring us today. And now I'm pleased to hand the microphone over to Kate Seelye, MEI Vice President for Arts and Culture. Thank you, Kate, for arranging this.
Thank you so much, Stu, and welcome everyone. Welcome to today's conversation with renowned Egyptologist, Dr. Zahi Hawass. As Stu has said, no one has done more over the past 40 years to bring the wonders of ancient Egypt to the world through his discoveries, through his many documentaries, through his many books and book tours. And so, Dr. Hawass, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your award. Are you going to put it next to your Emmy? And thank you to Deborah Lair, who is joining us shortly, for her incredible support of you and our work. We've done a lot of work with Deborah Lair through the Antiquities Coalition over the years, including a big conference in Cairo around stolen and looted antiquities. Now, you have a long and impressive bio. I'm going to just give a quick summary, and then we're going to get into our conversation. Dr. Hawass is a former Minister of State for Antiquities Affairs. He previously served as Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities for many years. And in that capacity, made many landmark archaeological discoveries, which we're going to get into. You'll see in the film. Thank you. And maybe is yours on? You're probably more professional at this than I am. Thank you, Lynn. He's made many landmark archaeological discoveries, written many books, including 16 books on Tutankhamun. As mentioned, he's been featured in documentaries for the Discovery Channel, National Geographic, PBS, for which he won the Emmy. And he serves as a UN ambassador for global cultural heritage, among other UN designations. So we're very much looking forward to this conversation. We're going to start with a film. We're going to have 35 minutes of discussion. Then we'll have a Q&A, so please get your questions ready. And that will be followed by a reception where we can mingle and enjoy our time with Dr. Hawass. So Charlotte, can we please run the documentary?
You never know what the sand of Egypt might hide of secrets. I am saying I could smell the sand. I could smell there is something important will happen. That tunnel could lead us to a major discovery that will make the world crazy. Ancient Egypt gave science and technology to the world. The ancient Egyptian created a new language. Egypt captured the hearts of everyone. The tomb of Ramses II is the most important tomb in the Valley of the Kings. But in antiquity, the tomb was robbed. Last century, the flood damaged the tomb completely. Can we imagine if this tomb was found completely intact? What treasures could be here? The most important thing for the ancient Egyptians was the quest for immortality. In my opinion, the quest for immortality built Egypt. Pyramids has magic. I think there is no one really worked and discovered and made incredible things around the pyramids more than I did. I entered this place hundreds of times. I even lived in front of the Great Pyramid of Khufu for years. I revealed many secrets of the pyramids, discoveries, the tombs of the pyramid builders. The builders of the pyramids were not slaves. Because if they were slaves, they will never be buried in the shadow of the pyramids. And they will never prepare their tombs for eternity like kings and queens. Nefertiti. This is the name of the owner of this tomb. You know that every king of Egypt had 5 names. Beautifully written. If you look at the hieroglyphic, it is pictures of everything. Plants, animals, human beings, statues, everything. But also it has sound. In the shadow of the step pyramid of Zoser. I entered inside a shaft about 20 meters under the ground. I found a sealed door. I opened it. I found inside a sealed sarcophagus dated back 4,300 years ago. I started the Egyptian mummy project. And actually, we began with DNA to take samples from the mummies. And we began CT scan to examine every mummy. Ramses has magic. It's true.
إياك أنك جادت وس ميرا جاجت.
I have been studying ancient Egypt, excavating, revealing the mystery of the Great Pyramid. But the most important was really my study of the Great.
We had a little, maybe the wireless is not working well. Oh. Well, we're very close to the end.
But did you try it again? This is the first time to show it?
No, we've played it. Yes.
And what's the problem?
You know, it's always a mystery with technology.
No, that's not.
Well, let's, you know, I think there are only about 2 minutes of this left.
Yes,
So why don't we just get into our conversation?
sure. In the last, this 9 minutes, but in the last minute or so, Omar al-Sharif is saying,
That is
you know, I was a friend of Omar. I was a friend of Omar Sharif for a long time, and we have the same personality. Then we used to fight all the time. When Omar insults someone, they never answer. But when he opened his mouth for anything against me, I smash him. But when he had an Alzheimer for 1 year, I never left him for 1 day. I always just take him to go to dinner or lunch, but it was so bad that his friends did not really take care of him when he had Alzheimer's. The only thing that he remembered was my name, but he never remembered me as a person. But in this film,
Yes.
he's saying two things. Number one, he said that the best quality of Zahi is acting. And he said, Zahi Hawass is the best actor I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And the second thing, the last sentence, he said, I was the most famous Egyptian before Zahi Hawass became the most famous Egyptian. Then the
That's
film
it.
is finished.
Yes, quite a comment from the amazing Omar Sharif. Well, let's get into our conversation. You know, we've seen these amazing archaeological digs. We'll be talking about them. We'll get into the Indiana Jones part of this. But I want to start with the latest development in Egypt, and that is the launch of the Grand Egyptian Museum, the GEM. Of course, it was 20 years in the making, $1 billion+, but the largest museum devoted to any single civilization in the world. And of course, you were a big part of it. And I learned this when I was doing the research, that you were there from the beginning. You even chose the site of the museum. And you said, this museum is finally a way for Egypt to tell its own story. So tell me, Dr. Hawass, what is the significance of the GEM for Egypt, for its identity, and for you personally?
A big surprise to say that I was against this museum. Because a large museum like this would be bad for two things. Number one, that you will take great artifacts from the Great Museum, the old museum, that I think it is the best. Cairo Museum is the best museum in the world. When you enter inside this museum, you smell the past. And the second thing is the cost. A museum like this costed Egypt $2 billion in a country that needs money for the economy. Was my idea is in this location to build a museum only for Tutankhamun. And I will tell you, with the Grand Museum, I want anyone to go. The only place that they visit is Tutankhamun, and the rest they never go. When this museum was opened before the great opening, very few people go. But when King Tut was at the museum, 20,000 people, they see it a day. But that was my idea, but the Minister of Culture wanted the word the largest museum in the world to be, but still, I think this museum, when I became the minister, I was able to keep Cairo Museum with its glory, because it has Yuya and Tuya artifacts. It has Amenhotep II. It has the Fayoum portrait. It has the Gold of Tanis. Then this, and also I found a great tomb recently that I cannot talk about it now. But most of my discoveries now, I give it to the Cairo Museum. And when I told the minister to announce this tomb that we found, then people can go to the Cairo Museum. But when we built the three museums, we thought the Civilization Museum could be for mummies. If you put mummies in Siwa, people will go. And Cairo Museum for art, and the Grand Museum for Tutankhamun. But the good thing about this museum, that when we decided, okay, that this museum will be the largest museum, I was happy with one thing. You know, to the south of the Great Pyramid of Khufu, you have this boat museum. It was an ugly museum. And that museum really bothered me a lot. And I don't know what we can do. But when we decided to build the Grand Museum, I thought to have another museum next door to this museum. And we moved the boat. And the second boat pit, the Japanese, since 20 years, were taking the wood out. And now when you go to the boat museum, you'll be able to visit the boat and see Japanese and Egyptian team are restoring this boat.
Interesting.
And the second thing that I did is moving Ramses II from the train station to the Grand Museum.
Right.
Because I wanted Ramses II to greet everyone who's coming. In my life, I always write job description to everyone. This is why I never regret in anything I did, because I study everything before I do it. Everyone was afraid to move this museum. It's 83 tons. How it will go from the train station in bridges up to the museum. We studied for 3 years how to do it. And I will never forget, it left the train station at 1 in the morning. And all the ladies who lived around, they were screaming, "Goodbye, our love, we'll miss you." Poor people, really. Poor
And this thing is
people.
enormous. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
poor people at 1 in the morning were screaming as if it's a funeral. So he's leaving them. Everyone was awake because the statue left at 1 in the morning, arrived the Grand Museum at 1. The only one who went to sleep was me, because I was sure that this will go safe. The minister said, if this statue will fall down, I will lose my job. I told him, don't worry, I will keep you to have this job. And I got up in the morning at 6, and I went to meet Ramses at 7 in the morning in front of the Grand Museum. Then now you have the Great Museum, the Ramses II greet everyone. Behind you have a statue of a king and a queen, Happy, the god of the Nile. You go to the Grand Museum, the boat museum, and also go to a staircase that contain over 100 statues of kings and queens. And after that, you go to King Tut. all, Howard Carter found 5,398 objects. Most of the objects are shown for the first time. But I want to tell you about my idea, why I wanted King Tut. I found many people who only run to the Golden Mask, only, and they leave. Because the Golden Mask is the most beautiful object in the museum. Then we had it in one big room, twice bigger than this. And this is why many people who have no limit, because if you want to visit the Grand Museum, you need 2 days. Some people come for 2 hours to Cairo. Then they come to the museum and they just go. The opening, there is no museum opened in any country that 44 kings, queens, and a president came to the opening.
Amazing.
Except the Grand Museum. And that was really very important because it was a message that Egypt is safe. And many people, in your country, and when I give my lecture tours every 2 years, all the questions, is Egypt safe? Egypt is safer than any country on earth. Even with Iran war, nothing was Egypt. Gaza, Egypt is away from all of this. Because really we need tourism. But I really think that the Grand Museum was a wonderful thing that told the people that Egypt is safe.
Yeah.
And told the people also that we, with all our bad economy, we care about the Egyptian monuments. To build the Grand Museum and the Civilization Museum is also unique. It's within a lake. And I made the mummies in this museum because when you go to any city in America, they have a mummy. And the children go, they scream. Then they show mummies for a thrill. And I don't like that. I had dinner once in a Bohemian club in San Francisco. On the second floor, they had a mummy. And I was so upset. How can you have a mummy in a restaurant like this? I brought the manager and I said, do you know why you have lots of earthquakes in San Francisco? he said, why? I said, because you have this mummy. And I think they give it to one of the museums. Then I brought the designer, the Japanese architect, and I told him, we need to enter as if we're entering a tomb. We need to show the mummy and the coffin and artifacts of the king, CT scan result, DNA, to show the mummies for education, not for a thrill. And really this is what's happening with the two museums.
It's amazing. How many here have visited the GEM? All right, there are a lot, but we need a lot more to go, and I think GEM is really driving a lot of very important tourism to Egypt, so Mabrouk, it's an exciting time. And of course, now that you have this world-class museum in Egypt, I gather you've renewed your call to repatriate a few seminal Egyptian artifacts, the Bust of Nefertiti in Berlin, the Rosetta Stone in the British Museum. How has your campaign been strengthened by the establishment of this museum, and how is it going?
As I said, that we have to thank Deborah Lear because she really played a very important role in returning stolen artifacts from here. And the second is really Homeland Security. And I will tell you one story. There is an officer, his name is James something. He called me and he said, I have a story. I'm following an American officer, army officer, who came to Egypt and he bought artifacts stolen from a magazine in Egypt. And I told him, I don't know what magazine. But after a few months, he followed the officer and he caught the artifact. He sent me a picture. That was the most important First Dynasty artifacts when it was in a store in Maadi. And the store was broken and they took the objects out. We were able to bring it back. And I have to tell you, with that officer, he took me to a building in New York City, about 4 floors. In every floor, Iraq monuments, Yemen, Egypt, incredible. Then Homeland Security, they brought to us many stolen artifacts. And they cooperated with me in a good way. And with Deborah, they brought many important ones. But I won't tell you, in my career, before I became the head of antiquities, I used to hear what people say about us. You don't have good museums. You make bad restoration. Why do you need these artifacts to go to your country? We keep it safe in our country. no one really can say this. When I became the head of Antiquities, I built 22 museums. 2 is the best in the world, the Grand Museum and the Civilization Museum. And I went to a debate. You know, the Oxford student, they make every 3 years a grand debate, big. And they bring someone against someone. Against me, they brought the director, Jim Coney, director of the Getty, and many director of museums. And they said what I'm telling you. And they began to talk about how they preserve the antiquities, how they see the British Museum, 2,000 artifacts were stolen 2 years ago. The Louvre, you know what happened to the Louvre. Bad restoration, they restored the marble of Greece in a bad way. Then I stood and I said, I prepared the speech, but I'm not going to talk for this paper. And I talk from my heart. And I told them briefly, I said, I'm not asking for every artifact to come back to Egypt. No, because many artifacts left illegally by law. I really need 3 artifacts that I think they are the icon of the Egyptian identity. And I need museums to stop imperialism. What I mean by that, our monuments were taken out of Egypt through the British and the French occupation. And still, museums until today, and Deborah has a story with the Metropolitan Museum. The Met is a good example of buying stolen artifacts. And the Louvre. When a museum buys stolen artifacts, it will encourage thieves to go attack a tomb. You know, when a thief will go to a tomb and take one scene requested by a curator in a museum, he takes the scene, but he damages the whole scene. Then they damage the spiritual value of the pharaohs. And I said museums has to stop this. About restoration, bad restoration can happen everywhere. We had a revolution, nothing stolen. Cairo Museum, one day there was no police in Cairo, only from Cairo Museum is stolen 54 objects, and I brought them back. With museums, our museums are better than your museums. And all the students wrote on my side. Then my cause is fair. I returned 6,000 stolen artifacts when I was head of Antiquities. But when I began, just before I left, to ask for Nefertiti. And we had a great committee. And we sent a letter. I took a permission from the Prime Minister to sign the letter to send it to Germany on the 2nd of January 2011. They wrote back, and I received a letter on the 28th of January saying, we need this letter to be signed by the minister, not by you. In that day, I became a minister. But actually, I did not have the time. We had trouble. People were attacking us. It was so bad in that time. But really, when I left my job after that. And I thought, I don't find that the government are really keen in doing this. I have to tell you that Greece and Ethiopia are the countries that are really fighting the British Museum to bring their stolen artifacts. And this is why I thought that I should be the one to make this through the public. And this is why I wrote one petition first for the return of Rosetta Stone from the British Museum and the Zodiac from the Louvre. It is signed until now by 500,000 people. And you have to know, most of the people are not Egyptians. They're foreigners from everywhere. And when I made this foundation called Zahi Hawass Foundation for Heritage and Antiquities, I asked for the return of the Bust of Nefertiti. And I have 3 lawyers now with me, one from New York, one from Paris, one from Egypt. I'm not going to take these countries to court. To take people to court, it costs lots of money. No, I am ending this story by saying I will make their life miserable until they can bring the 3 pieces back to be shown in the Grand Museum. And I think we have justice. I'm not asking for everything. And this is why I believe we'll be able to bring these pieces back to Egypt and show them inside the Grand Museum.
You're optimistic. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see them there. Let's turn to the fun stuff. Let's turn to archaeology and all the incredible excavations you have done and your discoveries. And of course, you discovered the lost golden city in Luxor, which is considered the most important archaeological find since the discovery of King Tut's tomb by Howard
It was
Carter.
chosen, I just read it before I came, this year as #1 discovery for the last 10 years.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You discovered the graves of the pyramid builders. My question is, which discoveries do you feel have changed our understanding of ancient Egypt
You know,
the most?
I think the tomb, the golden city, is very important because we know about the one God, about Aton, only through Akhenaten. But this is not true. The golden city, it changed a lot about history. Number one, Aton was created by Amenhotep III. And he built this huge village for the artisans who really provided the palace and provided the temple with artifacts.
This is in Luxor? Where
In
was
Luxor,
this?
yes.
Okay.
It's to the north of Medinat Hab. I want to tell you, I never thought that we'll discover a city like this. It was found completely by accident. Because I was looking for the funerary temple of Tutankhamun. And I know that the temple should be located north of the temple of Ramses III at Medinat Hab. I re-excavated a site that was excavated by Holscher, an American Egyptologist, and I found that the temple that was assigned to it is built first by Tutankhamun. After I finished the excavation, I was sitting in a chair. In front of me was an empty area, nothing in it. I said to my assistant, make one sondage here. We found one house, and the house led us to this huge city. Now, we found inside the city 9 royal workshops for making textile, clothes, shoes, children toys, statues, everything. And the city was called the Dazzling Atom. Amenhotep III called his palace with the name the Dazzling Atom. He called himself the Dazzling Atom. When Akhenaten went to Amarna, he said, I built this city for my father Aton. I really think now that Aton was Amenhotep III himself. And inside the city, we found the name Semenech Kara, celebrating the second Set festival. And I really believe that this is the throne name of Queen Nefertiti, because we know that Queen Nefertiti, in the middle of Akhenaten's reign, her name disappeared because she became co-regent. She ruled with Akhenaten, and it changed her name to Nefer Aton. When Akhenaten died, she became a king for 1 or 2 years, and the throne name was Semenech Kara. Amenhotep III was a smart guy. He isolated Aton in the West Bank. He left Aton in the East Bank to do what they want. He never interfered in them at all. He never attacked them. But Akhenaten was stupid because he built a temple for Aton in Amun temple. Like if you built a church in a mosque or a mosque in a church, what will happen? And this is exactly why the priest of Aton hated him, and he decided to leave Luxor and go to Amarna. Then the city is a major important discovery. I wrote until now, I wrote more than 12 articles, and I wrote 1 book about the city, and it's really one of the most major discovery that really changed a lot on the history of the New Kingdom.
And didn't your discovery of the tombs of the pyramid builders also change people's understanding of how the pyramids were built?
Yeah,
right.
This happened when Graham Hancock from America, from London, Robert Bofal from Belgium, and John Anton West from New York. 3 people were talking about lost civilization, and it was a big thing. And they wanted even to make a film about these ideas. And I remember I was teaching at UCLA, and they asked the actor, what's his name, who acted as Moses before, Richard
Burton?
no, Charlton Heston,
Yeah.
to be the narrator. And they invited me for dinner to meet him at Michael restaurant. It's #1 in Wilshire, in Santa Monica. And I said to them, I will appear in this film for one condition. I need to see the final of what I say, because I don't know what you will do with what I say. And Charlton Heston agreed on my condition, but they disagreed. I refused to appear in the film because those people began to talk about lost civilization, pyramids. But I always tell them, give me one evidence that aliens built the pyramids. If aliens built the pyramids, aren't they say a cup? They should drink something. They have a step, nothing, no one single evidence at all, except saying how they can move stones like this. If you come, you know, there was a man in America, he makes a radio show for the New Age people. His name is Art Bell. His show started at 1 a.m. He was so famous and used to attack me every day. How the Egyptian can move 10 tons stone? No way. Aliens can do that. Then once he called me, he said, I want to make an interview with you. I said, no, I'm not going to give you an interview until you come to Egypt, and I will show you how one man can break a 10 tons piece. He came with his wife. We were restoring the Sphinx, and we had this big 5 tons stone. I brought a man in the age of 70. He stood above the stone. We can know the weak parts on limestone. With a pencil, he make a line with the weak parts, and he put a piece of iron, pum, 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 pum. I want you to come to see when I discover a tomb, a sarcophagus with a lid with 10 tons. I just want to show you how 2 people can only raise the lid. Then the Egyptian used this. And you have to understand why you think about this. If you try today to build the pyramid, you'll never be able to do it. Why? Are you going to hire 10,000 workmen a day to work for 28 years? You'll never do that. But that was the national project of the whole nation. All the Egyptians, the 3 million who lived in Egypt, made this tomb for the king.
Amazing.
And this is why it's very important. Then when I found the tombs of the pyramid builders, that was really a good, important evidence to try to talk against these people. Because those people, they want to sell their books, and they go to the libraries, and they say, right against it. They wrote, many Americans believed in them, and they wrote many letters to the president against me that I hide evidence about lost civilization. In the party that Deborah Lear did, I said a joke, not a joke, something happened that I will tell you again. During this things, it was big thing that I was attacking them, and they were attacking me back. But I told them all the time that your theory will go at the end in the garbage of history. Mm-hmm. And it happened now. No one hear about them, but they can hear what I say. But this world was really crazy, and this guy, a reporter from California, came to see me, and he said to me, my office was located next to the Great Pyramid of Khufu. And he said, I came here because people are saying that at 12 noon, you leave your office and you go to your bathroom. And you open a tunnel from the bathroom, and you go to the Great Pyramid through the tunnel, and you come back to hide things, and you come back. I said, okay, what do you want? He said, I want to see your bathroom. Then I told him, okay, go. He stayed 1 hour in my bathroom.
Oh my God.
And he came back. I said, have you seen any tunnels in my bathroom? He said, no. And I will publish your bathroom in the internet. And therefore, if you want to see my bathroom, write www.hawassbathroom.com. Then the discovery of the tombs of the pyramid builder. The Wadi al-Jarf papyri that found in 217, it has in hieroglyphic and hieratic explanation about moving stones, working in the pyramid of Khufu. My mirror, who said about his diary, I am from the Delta, hired by Khufu to work in his pyramid. My boss, his name is Didi. I found the tomb of Didi. Many important things he talked about. Then we have hundreds of evidence to prove that pyramids built by the Egyptian. And that's why I decided to write an encyclopedia of pyramids. I finished volume 1 under the name of Early Pyramids, explain what happened before Khufu. And volume 2 and 3 will finish.
Well, I'm glad you put that myth to rest about the aliens. Tell us more about what you're working on now. What are your most exciting projects that we want to all hear about?
I'm working now in many things. Number 1, I'm working inside the Great Pyramid. Next month will be our last season to find out how can we enter inside the voids that we found in the Great Pyramid of Khufu. We found one big void above the Grand Gallery, 100 feet long, another void behind the northern entrance of the second chamber, and the third is a corridor behind the main entrance. We'll see how can we enter. And I said that we are going to show this live in this coming November. And with me, the guy who is working in this, his name is Leslie Grive. And Leslie is the one who did with me Chasing Mummies. And he wanted Mr. Beast. And if you have a child in the age of 7 years old, he will be crazy when he hears the name Mr. Beast. But I do not really want Mr. Beast. I told him it will be the best if you bring Harrison Ford. me and Harrison Ford did audio for an exhibit to Tutankhamun in Denver, but we never met. But Leslie said he's getting old now and he cannot travel. And now they decided to have Mark Rober. And Mark Rober has millions of followers in YouTuber. And he believes in science. Then he will fit. I found out what I'm telling you today only about Mark Rober. Then this, and the second thing is at Saqqara. We found, I'm searching for the tomb of Imhotep. We found the royal tomb of the son of a king. We found the new pyramid. We found many tombs, great tombs. In Luxor, I'm searching for the tomb of Queen Nefertiti in the Valley of the Kings. And we found also a big, large area with tombs near the temple of Queen Hatshepsut. And
also in Luxor?
Yes. And I'm working in Luxor in a site that never been anyone worked before. It's called the Valley of Marks, about 10 miles to the north from the Valley of the Kings. And with CT scan, we are searching on mummies, DNA. I'm looking for the mummy. I have a team working with me, foreign Egyptian team, searching for the mummy of Nefertiti and her daughter Ankhis in Ammon.
Yeah, you're using a lot of modern technologies now. CT scans, robotics, DNA.
Then also infrared, ultrasound.
So what has this allowed you to discover that you might not have discovered without this kind of technology?
No, the technology helped us to understand things. Like you cannot, with X-ray, you take very few photographs of a mummy. But with CT scan, take 1,000 photographs. You can know everything about the mummy. DNA, I never believed that could happen. But now, we found it scientifically can happen. I found the family of Tutankhamun. I found the mummy of Queen Hatshepsut. I found many things with DNA. And now we are working with this project for Nefertiti now. And also I'm writing, because I'm coming to the States to raise funds for my excavation, and this will be 60 cities in America. It starts April 4th. Washington always is one of them. But during and I'm bringing with me also this lady, Kathleen Martinez, that was searching for the tomb of Cleopatra. She worked with me for 11 years, and now she's working alone. And actually, Bill Billard, who found Titanic, he was one of the 9 explorers risen for the National Geographic with me. He's searching with Kathleen now in the water for maybe evidence of Cleopatra under the water near the temple of Tabuziris Magna. Then I finished 5 books for this tour. One already published. It is the catalog for the Grand Museum Tutankhamun. The second about Cleopatra. And the third, early pyramids. And number 4, Ramses II. And number 5, Zahi Hawass, my life.
Coming out this fall, right? Coming out very soon.
Everything is coming in 2 or 3 months from now.
Okay, congratulations. Well, I'm going to open the floor to questions soon, but just a final question for me, talking about your accomplishments, your legacy. When you look ahead, how do you feel about how you shaped Egyptology for Egyptians, right? I mean, in the past, there was a lot of Westerners working in the field. Now, with the Conservation Center at the GEM, you see more Egyptians involved. Talk about your role in empowering more Egyptians within the field.
First of all, when I did this show with National Geographic, it was live, showing what was behind the door that we found inside the Great Pyramid. When Fox, with National Geographic, decided to do that, it was seen by billions of people everywhere. And I talked to the Minister of Information that the Egyptians should see it. Then I heard a lady to make a comment. And this lady made it 2 days before the show as if you're going to discover Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. She made every Egyptian to be awake at 3 in the morning, 3 to 5, to watch this show. And this made all the people in Egypt began to be interested in antiquities. After that, the Mummy Parade and the Luxor Parade. And I write always in Arabic for children. And really now I can see there is big interest on the Egyptian on their history.
Good.
And this really make me very happy. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So more Egyptians wanting to go into archaeology, wanting to
discover
the other 70%
I told
of
them
Egypt.
it is not easy. It is not really easy to become an archaeologist. You don't understand how much I suffered in my life. How it's very difficult in my country to be a public figure. Very difficult, especially for someone like me who was an official of the Egyptian government. They should kill me at the beginning. But because I'm a fighter and I always was able to fight people back and I win. And this is why I think to be an archaeologist in Egypt, it's really difficult. But before you take the questions, I want to wake you up with 2 stories about the people that I met in my life. And this is really is a big chapter in my book, but I'll tell you about 2 stories. The first one is about Beyonce. She came to sing in Hurghada, and she told the Minister of Tourism she wants to meet me in front of the Sphinx. I said, okay. She said that she will come at 3. She came late at 5 o'clock. I am the only Egyptian who's in time. And if anyone comes late, I will make his life miserable. Deborah was so afraid when she entered late. Then now she came dressed as Cleopatra, and we talked. She had a bodyguard and a photographer. And I had an American lady, her name is Jennifer. She was my photographer. Her photographer took photos of me and Beyonce, and Jennifer came to take photos. This bodyguard took the camera, threw it away, and pushed Jennifer in the ground. I said, you're really crazy. You are doing this in front of me? Guards, take this guard and this lady out.
Oh my.
And my guards dismissed them out. When I went out, there was 50 of the press, and they asked me, what do you think of Beyonce? I said, she's stupid. This story is written in the internet. Happened in 2010. I was in Taiwan 2 weeks ago. The press asked about Beyonce. It's crazy. Until today, more than 15 years, this story. But what happened, there is a friend of mine, his name is Ankur Jain, an Indian American who came to Egypt. They were married in front of the Great Pyramid, and I was the priest. Then I came last August to New York, and he invited me for dinner in a club in New York called ZZ Club. We were having dinner, drinking wine. I looked behind me, I saw Beyonce and 12 people. I said, I'm Kate. Ankur, please take me to the other room. And we escaped to the other room. The second beautiful story, when anyone famous comes to Egypt, the company brought them, are not supposed to say names because of security. Then when they ask me, there is someone want to meet me, I never care who's coming. And one day I was waiting for this person is coming. And this lady came to me, Dr. Hawass, how are you? My name is Kate Seelye. I said, I'm very happy to meet you. What do you do? I swear to God, I did not know who's Kate Seelye. But I knew that she's very important. When I saw her face, began to be, I thought this is the important one. But I said, ma'am, I really am not in the field of anything. But I know the guy beside you, Orlando Bloom. Questions now.
Oh, dear. Poor Katie. All right, wonderful stories, Dr. Hawass. Thank you, thank you. Let's turn it over to questions. We have a room full of archaeologists, I do believe, and I'm sure there's some questions. There's a gentleman down here. Just wait till the microphone comes, because we're recording everything. Thank you. And please, if you could just introduce yourself.
Dr. Hawass, my name is Dominic Cardella, and great fan of yours. But I'm curious to know, what do you think the pharaohs, how do you think they would feel about having their sacred spaces broken into and explored?
Without us, there will be nothing. I mean, we are making their glory more. And I will tell you, when I discovered a mummy, I found 200 coffins last in Saqqara now with mummies. I never take the mummies out. I leave them as they are. But we are not disturbing them. We are writing about them. We are taking care of them. We are protecting them. And we are writing about them. They should be happy.
I think I'm watching too many mummy movies.
Oh, not a good idea. Yes, question over here.
Ustaz Mutaram. I'm Craig Karp, former U.S. diplomat, but I never served in Egypt, although I lived there twice. I had two questions for you. First of all, you said you've been doing DNA research, and I'm wondering if you found any descendants from the pharaonic families.
I want to answer a question. I am not interested at all. How can we compare between mummies and me today? Why I will do it? I'm interested to reveal the secrets of mummies that has no names, to give them their names. But people ask me all the time, aren't you trying to find out if you are the descendant of the pharaohs? Why? Why I will do that? That's not my field. If someone in the future will come and is interested on that, he can do it. But I'm not interested in this.
Okay, second
And
question.
I will tell you, without DNA, if you came to Egypt in 1960, before the TV entered Egypt, and you go to any village, exactly what the people, the farmers do, is like what the Egyptians did in the tombs. Exactly. And even the faces. Look at the faces of people in Upper Egypt. It exactly are the faces in the tombs. Then we do not really need to do this modern thing. The second question.
Okay, second question. First, a very brief plug. The National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, which you were talking about, is not really known by many foreigners, and it's really an amazing place. The mummies are in the basement, but upstairs it talks about other aspects of Egyptian civilization, including the Christians and the Muslims. So please go visit it.
But you know that this museum until now is not, you cannot call it Museum of Civilization. Because Civilization Museum, I had a scenario. You need the hero of a Civilization Museum is the story, not the artifact. Go to Toronto and see the Civilization Museum. Then we had the idea of making the River Nile, how the River Nile created Egypt, agriculture, trade. You've seen one hall in the museum only, and the rest are closed because of fund. Then what really you see in this big gallery is not a civilization museum. It's still an art museum. I put the mummies in the Nimic because if a star is not inside this museum, no one will go. If the mummies are not in the Civilization Museum, no one will go. Tourists are interested in names like mummies, Tutankhamun. Complete story. Complete the question.
Okay, the question is, and it's related to civilization. You talked about the pyramid builders, and it's known that the people in Egypt didn't live in any of these stone structures. They lived in buildings that were built of mud. The cities were built of mud. And you have all of Memphis that's just west of Saqqara, And is there any plan of going through and really looking at where people actually live?
There is no way. Look what happened now. Any pyramid site attacked by agriculture, by houses. Then you will never discover the remains of, we know from the Wadi al-Jarf Babayri that Khufu built a city, a capital at Giza. It's called An Khufu, means Khufu lives. And he had his palace inside. You have in front of the Sphinx, only about 30, 40 feet, you have the houses of the village. Then all this gone. You can't find any remains. You have to know that Giza, the pyramids were open to the Nile. Now look what happened in Cairo. It's a shame, really, when I was in Athens last week, and I found that nothing up by the
Acropolis.
The Acropolis. I'm not going to talk about this. Talk about something else.
But basically, you think Cairo is
this
sitting
really
on top
upset
of...
me when I see the sites were really attacked by modern construction and by people who are really idiots, don't understand the value of a site like Giza Plateau.
Yes, covered with homes. We have some questions. There's a woman in the back. Let's, with the hair here, in the back. Everyone has hair. But
I'm interested in a little bit more recent. St. Catherine's, which is built in the 600 AD, but there's been a lot of controversy between, who really owns St. Catherine's. Is it Egypt, or is it Greece, or is it the church? And you must have been very engaged in that issue.
I think it's a monastery, belongs to the Greece, but it's under Egyptian land. Then they should obey the Egyptian law. But we cannot deny that this church is very important, and we preserve it. And the conflict that's happening today, it's done by some idiots, not really true. I was there recently with the Prime Minister, and I could see that the monks were happy and everything was fine.
all right. Last two questions. The woman in the back and the gentleman in the front. This can be the last two.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Zahi. My question is on the global significance of ancient Egypt. As we know, Egypt was the catalyst for the UNESCO World Heritage Convention in 1972. So what diplomatic role can ancient Egypt play in today's world?
I really believe that with ancient Egypt, you can do everything. Because I always say, if you ask a child in the age of 8 in any city here in America, and you tell him Egypt, he will tell you mummies, King Tut, Sphinx, Great Pyramid. I do lots of Zoom in schools here, children. And most of them, they come wearing a lady, she wears Ankhesenamun. She introduces herself, I am Ankhesenamun, the queen of Tutankhamun. Then really, I really enjoy, and this is why with this publicity and how ancient Egypt captured the hearts of people everywhere, we can use it to win many things. But I hope that we can use it.
Certainly to educate the world about Egypt and its history, and
Yeah.
to bring Egypt and the rest of the world closer. It's so important. Yes, there's this gentleman here.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hawass, for a very interesting discussion. I had a comment and a question. The comment was, Omar Sharif, did you ever play chess with him, or did you lose and that's why he got mad at you?
I don't get your question.
Omar Sharif, I was talking, you started the comment on Omar Sharif.
Now, Omar Sharif, when he gets the first drink and you are beside him, you are finished. If you disobey anything that he says. We once had dinner, me and him, and Danny Grover, and Jacqueline Bisset. And Jacqueline Bisset said something, an opinion. Shut up. You don't understand anything. You don't know everything about politics. I said, Jacqueline, this man is crazy. Don't
No,
answer him.
but he was also a chess player.
A what?
Chess.
A chess player. A bridge. I'm sorry. the
Bridge.
player. Bridge player.
I think at the end of his life, the last 3 years, he stopped playing bridge. But he was always happy to be Egyptian, and he was such a cultured man. He actually spoke like fluently 5-6 languages. And he was so smart, and he reads a lot. And really, after he left his first wife, he never be in love with any woman. But he did a lot for Egypt. He, at the end of his career, he acted a film with Adil Imam. He acted some Coptic and some Muslims, and were really called Hassan and Moros. Was a fantastic film. Then Omar was really a legend, and in my opinion, Egypt will never be able to bring someone like this man.
My question is, you talked about you're publishing a book on Cleopatra. That means you have moved from antiquity to more closer to 100 BC and thereabouts. That brings up the question of the lighthouse Alexandria. There's a lot of work seems to be going on. Is there any progress in that? Can you tell us something about it?
There is some going on restoration now, and I wanted really to build a museum for underwater museum, and I hired a French architect, and we designed it to have an underwater that you can walk and you bring all the objects from the other side that people can see it. The museum needs some fund. I hope if we finish this museum, it will be like the Grand Museum. But I think there is still some restoration work is happening now in this area.
Wow, well, this has been such a fun and entertaining conversation. We've all had a wonderful end of our Friday. Thank you so much, Dr. Hawass, for all of your stories and and for making us even more excited to visit Egypt and visit the Gem. And I think we're all going to be booking our tickets as soon as the prices go down. And thank you all again for joining us. Please stick around for the reception. We'll have drinks in the back. We'll be rolling some food up, and enjoy each other's company. Thank you all.